Michael's in Leeds. What lessons do you want us to learn from this story, Michael?
Okay. Hi, James.
Hello, Michael.
Well, basically, I think I've got two lessons for us to learn. One is people in power ought to be able to take responsibility for stuff, especially if they can take all the big bonuses that they get paid for supposedly doing the job. So we know that Paula Vanells is not the only one.
Did you know she was a priest?
I found that out, that actually, Church of England priest, yes.
I only found out this morning. How have I missed that? I thought to myself.
She was actually in the shortlist to be Bishop of
London.
Apparently.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, how did you get into these circles, Michael? I'm quite well known these days. How do you get into the sort of shortlists for these incredible jobs? You end up on boards, or you end up with these. How just extraordinary, really. But anyway, we digress. I think you're being overly optimistic, aren't you? If you're expecting a
little bit.
Yes.
I mean, it started off with David Mills in 2002. Okay, and he was there till 2005. Then Alan Cook from 2006 to 2010. Then Paula. Then after Paula is like Nick Reed. Nick Reed's 2019, so we can't really blame him so much.
No.
But he produced a Christmas message, and in that he said, I hope we learn the lessons or whatever. We're going to change Horizon and that. But it's still a robust system.
Yes.
And that word robust to me is, we almost need to get Susie Dent to strike that out of the dictionary. It's been so...
She's very powerful, Susie, quite rightly.
Is,
Queen Susie, as we call her on this programme. But I don't know that she's quite that powerful enough.
I tweeted her and asked her, and she just kept quiet. But so then the second lesson is, there was this lady called Julie Wolstenholme, who actually, she could have probably have an ITV drama about her as well, because in 2003, this is while Alan Bates was getting his post office closed, she took on the post office. She's stalwart, basically.
This is in Nick Wallace's book as well, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Yes.
This is how I got it, yeah. I tweet Nick Wallace all the time. It's really great. And basically, she's in this Blackpool post office in Thornton Cleveland. I have relatives that live around there. And apparently she took them on, and she was able to get a guy called Jason Coyne, who's like an IT guy, that helped Alan Bates in his court case in 2015, going on 2018 ruling. And this was 2003, and he basically did a report that just got them banged to rights on all the Horizon bugs, but they shut it down, you see, because she countersued them. They were prosecuting her for the discrepancies. She countersued on the fact that the Horizon wasn't fit for purpose and that it was wrongful dismissal. She won both of those. The judge was going to rule for her, so they settled. They gave her about 186.
We're drifting a little from because I'm going to slightly, and I do urge everybody to read that book by Nick Wallace. But the lesson, really, I'm going to slightly redraw your lesson. What you want is more and more people to realise how absent the taking of responsibility for these sort of scandals is. So ideally, we would love to see a social change whereby people with responsibility for Bloody Sunday, Hillsborough, Grenfell, the COVID inquiry, Windrush, the contaminated blood scandal, Aberfan, apologies to my Welsh listeners for not picking up on that sooner. We would like to see, if you like, consequences and actions, but the first step, perhaps, is a system in which a change to the system which demands it, that you actually have much quicker. Do you know who I think of, actually? The only one I can ever think of, and I'm not going to remember her name. Yes, I can remember her name. It was Sharon Shoesmith, who I think Ed Balls threw under a bus after the tragic death of Baby P because the tabloids were baying for blood, so Ed Balls delivered some. But I can't think of many other examples where someone at the very top of an organisation has been immediately and summarily punished for
they don't get punished.
They don't get punished. And that's the lesson to take away, I think. Yeah. Sadly, Michael, I'll take your optimism and I'll drown it in a sea of my pessimism, because the lesson we learn is that they don't get punished, up to and including, I would predict, with fairly high levels of confidence, Matt Hancock and Boris Johnson and the rest of them at the COVID inquiry. Remember when Nadeem Zahawi was punished over his breach of the ministerial code regarding his own tax affairs, he was kicking and screaming all the way to the door. That was not something that prime ministers wanted to do, or that Nadeem Zahabi was comfortable with them doing. It was thanks to the work of that tax lawyer, wasn't it, Dan Needle, I think, that the story saw the light of day.